Sanibona, we're back again with part 2 of this book review, Why Men Can't Listen and Why Women Can't Read Maps. So we had covered a lot of things. We're left with a few chapters. A chapter where the writer looks at the attributes and the behavior and the psychological impacts of being a man. It seems the biology of a man is at odds with community expectations. Why am I saying that? Because in the book I learned that men are gifted abundantly with this hormone called testosterone. All men have androgens, but the testosterone is a hormone that plays a bigger part in their physique. It makes them gain those broad shoulders, bigger voice, a beard, tall, whatever features that men always have. And when you ask young women, to show that that is the feature of a hunter, when you ask young women the picture or visualization of a future husband, you'll find that most ladies will say tall, handsome, big voice, about baritone. That shows you that naturally the picture of a hunter is the one that the women are having in their minds, a tall guy with a big voice who's going to protect them. And so guys, naturally being gifted with these large amounts of testosterone, they tend to perceive themselves as confident, as providers, as people who shouldn't fail. Men hate failure, and they hate to be told they are failures of any form. Failure in sex, failure in class, failure in managing situations. They just don't want to be associated with that word failure. And so with their hate of failure, you find that even the interest between men and females are different. Things that we talk about as women are different from men. Men want to talk about what they're good at, what their friends are good at, the sports, the news, the latest games, the new cars, because they like their things or toys, and that's it. And you would have thought that men talk about sex most of the time, because we always think as females, men like women. So liking women, we think it equates to sex. No, they say men talk about sex as a joke, and they never give those jokes like details. Meanwhile, if you look at females, because for them relationships are important, they talk about their friends, they talk about family, children, they talk about gossips, they talk about weight. It could be weight loss, it could be a new gym fashion, they talk about fashion itself. So for them, that's important. Relationships are important to us as females, and that's what we talk about. And we do talk about sex. Surprisingly for men, if they didn't think so, we talk about sex. And women, they say women are too graphic, unlike men. When a guy was visited by his girlfriend, he might tell another guy that, you know, that my girlfriend visited me. Yeah, we had sex. That's it. No big deal. But for a lady, when she comes back from her boyfriend, her story will be much longer, because she'll be giving the graphics of how things happen. Then he bought champagne. Ooh, and the glass. He came, you know, finer details. Even how the glass was carved, what chair we sat on, what color was the chair. We look into a broader picture and finer details of everything. What shoe he was wearing, when did he take off the shoes, when did he take off my jacket, where did he hang the jacket. It still all goes back to the subject of sex, but I start from the entrance of the door to my sitting, my drinking, the music that was playing. The guy will never give such a graphic picture. He feels all those details are not necessary. Or if not, he feels that too personal. Why should he share it with 10 other guys? And why should he brag about it? No need. But for a woman, it's a way of showing what level of relationship am I having with my boyfriend if I'm a young lady, or my husband if I'm a married woman? So all those things, we translate them into relationships. But for men, because they're practical, for them, no big deal, to an extent that you won't see why he should talk about it. The other thing, men are designed to be capable, to be bold, to be confident, to be assertive, to be good in what they do and be successful in what they do, to be practical as well. Competitive comes in. And that is why men will always want to be better than the other men. That's why sometimes you find a man physically abusing his girlfriend because he found her talking to another man. To him, he doesn't care what relationship you're having, but it's the mere idea that another man can stop and talk to you. That means you're telling him he's not as good as that guy. So it's the competition in him that tells him that that hunter cannot be better than I am. So that's why they get aggressive and they don't even want to listen to your explanation. And that's why other men find it hard to accept that their women can have male friends, because to them it's like, you can't keep my competition in my own space. Keep them or leave them out of my space. So they can't handle that. And women, if you realize your man is that type, don't put him into temptation. Don't lead him into temptation, because that's his weakest point. Rather, support him and develop him. And that is another gift we have as women, according to the book, that we want to improve the men we love. We want to see that man becoming a better person, becoming a significant person in the community, or becoming a better guy once he is in my space. If I find him wearing, I don't know, whatever he wears, I would want him to wear something of more higher quality, well coordinated, clean, ironed, smelling good. That's where we take the pride in that, wow, I nurtured this guy, I transformed him from this kind of a guy to this kind of a guy that I had in my mind, that my husband might look and feel that way. So whatever transformation we do, for us, it's an expression of love and attention. This is how much I love you. If, guys, you have a partner and that partner never aspires to comment about your clothing, about your fashion, about your perfume, your looks, chances are maybe she's not yours. She's there for a reason and a season, and she'll soon leave for a permanent guy. And you'll see, when we are committed, we will try and develop or transform that guy to the kind of guy that I want to see next to me all the time. It's in us as females. We do it naturally when we find a person that we can invest in, a person that we feel we love forever. This is how we show our relationship to men. Again, men having testosterone, the other area where we tend to be at loggerheads with is the sexual intercourse, the sex part. For men, sex is like one of those things that has to happen all the time, because the testosterone in them empowers them to engage in sexual act at any minute, at any given time, at any place. It doesn't matter, they're always ready. And that hormone, testosterone, is highest at sunrise. And that is why most rapists, you'll find that they rape early morning hours, because their testosterone as men is higher at that time. For those who are not rapists, who are regular partners, husband, boyfriend, they like engaging in sex at the early hours of the morning. It's not like they like, but it's the physiology that drives them to have sex at that time, because it is at the highest level, so they get the highest edge to have a sexual act with a partner. But women don't got those things, because we don't have large doses of testosterone, so sometimes you can never keep up with the pace. So instead of telling men that we're not wired that way, we're not designed that way, for us, there has to be an emotion that comes at the forefront before sex. So it's like a buy-in. You need to engage me into your field. You need to stimulate me, excite me so I can participate in the act. We're not like men. We're not forever ready. And that's why the writer of this book made a similarity that women are like conventional ovens where you have to warm them up until they reach the desired temperature to bake in. Unlike men are like microwave. You touch one button, start, they're ready at any time, at any age, at any given stage. And that is why we even say amadoda wakhuli ayakhula, but testosterone that is loaded in their body ayenzi umehluko, ihlala ikhona in their body, and that is why they tend to behave like hunters even when they are 50, 60, 70, 80. It doesn't change. It's their biology. And that is why some men grow up as polygamous guys. You find that he's young, he's having 5 girlfriends, 6 girlfriends, a girlfriend in Gauteng, in Durban, in Maritzburg, in Cape Town, in wherever they go, because for them they want to engage in sex. But if you were to sit down and find out from him who is the future wife among these people, maybe he doesn't even know, because he's never taken emotional stock of who he really loves, but he just enjoys having sex. So if you're not ready, he needs to feel that there is another outlet, there is another person ready to take him at any time. So sometimes it could be provinces, sometimes it could be in one city that he has 6 girlfriends. So this girlfriend deprives him of sexual intercourse, he dashes out and goes to the next one who's ready. That's what a hunter does. So polygamy is naturally in their bodies until they learn ways of understanding the world we live in as females, that we don't like that competition. We don't like to be consistently competing with other ladies. We value relationships. I want those ladies to be my friends. I want to be your only attention and point of focus. You focus on me, I focus on you. We live together peacefully. It takes a lot of work. Sometimes you never achieve that goal, but it's worth trying if you love a person, trying to lure him into your world, trying to understand how a man thinks. A man hates to be a failure. A man needs validation that he is good, he is successful. So give him that validation. Tell him how good he looks, how good he is at what he's doing, how good he drives, how good he looks when he shaved his beard or when he grows his beard, depending on what you like. Don't be a fake about it. Be genuine. So say things that you can live with, because if you start just giving compliments randomly, you'll end up not knowing what kind of a man are you having, because you just compliment everything and anything that he does. He might end up understanding that you're just giving this to lock him down, and that's why he'll disregard your compliments. Same thing, women, we like the compliments as well, but on a different level. For us, the compliments is not just about being successful and about being strong and powerful. The compliment is about how we look. We want a validation from our partners that we look good, we are stylish, we are pretty, we are intelligent, we are friendly. His family loves us, because usually, you know, the in-laws, there's always that altercation. So a validation from him to say things are okay is needed at all times, continuously, until death do us part. So don't say that, oh, how long will I do this? For as long as you are my partner, for as long as we are alive, we'll keep on complimenting each other. I will give you what you need, you will give me what I need, so our relationship can work better, and we can live or sustain that relationship for the longest time ever, and give our children a reason to invest in institutions like getting married. They need to see a good reason why you must have a life partner, why you must get married, why you must keep a husband, why you mustn't divorce every 3 months or every 6 months, because they've seen it in front of them, a live demonstration of how you can be from different worlds and understand each other and work that relationship to a relationship that can be a role model for other people for the future as well. It takes time from understanding. We also need to understand that when men are faced with issues, because they are practical, they are logical, they work on words, understanding words that are being said during an issue or a problem, they need time to be by themselves, to analyze that, work it out, to find a solution, because they are naturally problem solvers. For women, that doesn't work that way. When we have an issue or a problem, we want to talk to somebody. So I have a problem with my husband, I want to talk to him. If not him, I want to talk to his brother, to his mother, to my friends, to my sisters, to whoever is within our circle. That's not how a man's brain is wired or calibrated. He's calibrated to keep to himself, think about stuff, focus on the issue, find a practical way of coming out of the problem or problematic situation. For us, our source of relief is talking about it. The more I talk, the more I get deflated. The more I forget about the emotional stress, the more I can do other things. But naturally, when we said in part 1, women are multi-talented. They can do different things at a different time. They can talk about the problem, think about you, the husband who's quiet, think about the children that, because you're not talking with their father, the kids are affected. They focus on a lot of things at the same time. Meanwhile, a guy will have to focus on a given task until a problem is solved, then he can move to the next one. And we need to understand that as well. There's nothing wrong with it. It's their nature. And men, there's nothing wrong with us in talking. This is our way of taking out the stress. If we don't talk about it, we'll become very dangerous species within your environment. Because now it's all bottled in, and the only way it can be relieved is talking. And now you're saying I mustn't talk. So if I don't talk, where will I take out onto? The children are at risk. You are at risk. Everybody is at risk, including the female herself. She's at risk to herself. She's a danger to herself because you've stopped her from doing things that she's gifted in doing, or using the healthier ways of letting go of her problems, which is by talking about them. The other thing, we discovered that men find it very hard to say I am wrong or I made a mistake. Accepting that to them is, they look at it as being less of a man. Let me put it that way. Meanwhile, women, they like men who accepts mistakes, men who will say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Wow, that's where the problem is. The other party doesn't like that. Women like it. So we have to find a middle way of saying, how else can you say I'm sorry without feeling less of a man? How else can your man apologize without saying I'm sorry if it's that hard to him? And they say men normally, they will do stuff to show you that they are sorry. They can paint the house. They can buy a new stove for you. They can buy new shoes for you. That's their way of saying I'm sorry. They might not verbally cough out the words I'm sorry. So if you were looking for those words, well, quit yourself. We have to accept that this is how things they are. And maybe after accepting the gift, you may be the one as a female who will say, I guess that means you are sorry. It might be easy for him to say yes at the end of your sentence rather than him saying those words. So it's okay. Don't mock him about it. Just learn that this is how the world is in this house, And it will be, because you also have stuff that he has to put up with. It's not like you are the one who's always understanding for the men. For the mere fact that we talk a lot and they don't want to talk, that's heavy enough for anybody to take, because we need that. And women, we need within our relationships to be tactile. We want to be feely touchy. We want to feel that the person loves you, the way he looks at you, keeps the eye contact, he touches you, he validates whatever is good with you, he goes through your feelings. And men are not like that. They are, like I said, very practical. They are not even emotional beings. So they fail to do or read the feelings that we want them to read from us. They cannot scan. They cannot read that you are happy, you are unhappy, you are angry. They're not good at that. Until you tell them, they're good with words. So if you say, I'm angry today, he'll understand. Rather than if you keep quiet and clean the house aggressively, he'll think, oh, my wife is energetic today. She's cleaning everything, the curtains, the windows, the walls. Meanwhile, it's the anger, and you are trying to show him how angry you are because you are not talking, you are just being physical. It may not work until you tell him. The gift of reading people's emotions is for females. Females can tell by watching a person sitting there that, oh, this person looks sad, this person is happy, this person is anxious, and so forth. So let's not try and transfer our gifts to men. Men are not gifted with it. Just tell him straight how you are feeling. He will understand in less words. Don't put a lot of statements, because you lose him in transition, because he won't be able to digest all the long story. Just give it in short sentences, direct sentences, so he can work around that and fix things. Because naturally, we are lucky, they're problem solvers. They will work on solving that problems of having an angry wife and have a happy wife. And they like happy families too as well, because it puts pride in them to say, wow, I'm an achiever. I was successful at solving this problem. Another notch onto my shoulder. So it's not about you only, it's about him and his ego as well. It makes him a bigger and a better man at the end of it all. But the other thing, because men are highly gifted with testosterone, and they have this nature of keeping quiet when things aren't going right. They bottle stuff until it gets too much. And when it gets too much, they're overstressed. They tend to act aggressively physically. They can burn the house. They can bring the house down. They can kill everybody in the house, because they've taken so much stress without talking, and they let it out on one go, which becomes toxic and very dangerous to the family and to the community. And that is why these days you hear people saying that a husband killed the wife, killed the children, and killed the mother-in-law, and killed the father-in-law. It's all in one. It's because they couldn't find a way of solving a current problem, and they thought because they can't find the solution, that's the end of the world, because he should be a problem solver. So as partners, female partners, we should be there to intervene. Your partner has been in his own corner for long. Try and take him out of that corner. Try and understand what is going on. Try and give ideas on how else situations or solutions or problems can be resolved. They are retrenched. We've been hearing a whole lot of stories every day on the news that most companies will be closing, which means a lot of our husbands, a lot of our boyfriends will lose jobs sitting at home. There's nothing worse than a man who doesn't have any source of income, because there is no pride. I told you earlier on, men fight pride in their work. So now you take work away from them, and if they're not talented physically with doing stuff like maybe building things through wood, or building things through wire, or wiring the house, or whatever, it's even worse. To them, it feels like death itself. And that is why other guys will never accept that. They will kill themselves than be dependents of their wives or their girlfriends or sisters or partners, whatever you might be calling yourself. So it's very hard on them. It hits hard on their ego. It hits hard on their wiring that they should be providers, and now they're no more providers, they're dependents. It hurts. It's even worse when your partner doesn't understand. They'll keep on lashing at you, telling you that, oh, awusebenzi, umosha ukudla, umosha imali, gwanjanjanja. All those things, they get too much to their brain and their status and their power and their pride. And so, at the end, the world will fall apart. Let's be more understanding. Let's be more accommodating of one another. We both have our own differences. But if we play them in open tables, we can understand how we can live with one another. We can understand how we can help each other be a better person in a relationship and make the relationship grow, be understanding, and enjoy the relationship. There's nothing exciting than understanding your partner. It takes a lot of work, but at the end, the rewards are more exciting. You even look at the years that you've wasted, that, wow, remember when you did this? I didn't know that is why you were doing it. Remember when you said this? I didn't know that's because females like those things. You know, it's exciting. It's enjoyable. So make your relationship enjoyable. Invest in understanding your partner. Of course, our social upbringing, social backgrounds, the environment we grew upon, the schools we attended, the teachers we had, the friends we had will always have an influence. But at the end, as you grow older, you mature and you get to know and use your own discernment to say, okay, this is right, I will keep. This is wrong, I'll discard. This is what I'll take with me in building my family. So making families, it takes a lot of work. It needs courage. It needs intelligence. I'm not talking of academic intelligence. It needs sacrifice. It needs patience. Don't think that because you told your partner you like her to wear red color, it will be red every day. Because she grew up wearing black, she might be still wearing black for a few months. Same as us females, if your partner does stuff that you don't like, it might take you a while to get him to be on the right track, because he's been that human being for the past many years. He hasn't met you. You're not going to change him overnight, or over 2 years, or over 3 years, or over 5 years to be the ideal person you had in your head. He's not going to be that person. He's not going to be like your brother. He's not going to be like your father. He is a unique human being himself. She is a unique human being. Just accept that she's not your mother. She's not your sister. She's not your auntie. She is your partner. So get that into your heads. Work on your relationship. It is very rewarding, very exciting at the end. And that's the end of our final part of why men don't listen and why women can't read maps. Thank you.